Chapter 195 A Combined Effort. The Sky Dream Iceworm's voice echoed in Huo Yuao's spiritual sea, but Electrolux, the Snow Lady and Huo Yua didn't interrupt him even though it was at such a critical moment. Tears rolled from both Huo Yuao and the Snow Lady's eyes. True love shows itself in a life or death situation. The Sky Dream Iceworm was willing to give up his life for the Ice Empress. His love for her was pure and devout. The Sky Dream Iceworm gazed at the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion after he finished speaking. When the Ice Empress didn't rebut him, his face revealed a comforted smile, and his size grew once again. The golden rings around his body detached from him and flew off. All 7 rings rapidly gathered in the air and flew close to Electrolux. The 7 golden rings formed a staff in the air, unleashing an indescribable and terrifying coercive spiritual force. It turned from dark gold to orange gold. Finally, it landed in Electrolux's hands. As he held onto the staff, filled with the Sky Dream Iceworm's spiritual origin, Electrolux's eyes also shone brightly. All right, Sky Dream. No matter whether we survive or not, I won't ever call you a worm again. You are fit to be my partner and my friend. Let's fight it out together. Ha ha ha. I haven't been so emotional in a long time. Let's get wild for once. The Ice Jade Empress Scorpion's gaze moved with the staff. As she looked at Electrolux, the blinding azure green light on her body burned more intensely. There seemed to be something more to the look in her eyes compared to before. The reflection of the Snow Empress seemed to have disappeared entirely from her crystal yellow eyes. An unprecedented, gentle voice echoed in Huo Yuao's spiritual sea. Sky Dream. I'm willing to listen to what you said just now again if we survive. I won't even scold you. The relationships between soul beasts weren't nearly as complex as the relationships between humans, but they were equally as deep, if not more. Huo Yuao's determined words, Sky Dream's noble sacrifice, the Ice Empress change in feelings, the Snow Empress deep affection and Electrolux's intense passion. 5 different strengths from 5 different beings ignited at this moment. Boom. A wild and terrifying aura was unleashed from Huo Yuao's body, just like the Sky Dream Iceworm said, the only person who could stop this tragedy from happening was Electrolux, someone who possessed remnants of their divine sense and experiences that the others didn't have. Definitely not Huo Yuao, the owner of this body. Huo Yuao handed control of his body to Electrolux. They could only survive if they worked together. It wasn't only him. The 400,000-year Ice Empress and the 700,000-year Snow Empress also used their life auras. 5 different strengths were now under Electrolux's full control. The wild and terrifying aura contained the strength of Huo Yuao, the Snow Empress, the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion and the spiritual power of the Sky Dream Iceworm. Their strength was now under the control of the Calamity Necromancer Electrolux, who had existed for countless years and once reached the level of God, even though he was only left with remnants of his divine sense now. The entire Clear Sky Castle shook as these 5 different strengths were unleashed. After they combined, a surging aura shot into the sky. Even though this aura didn't possess any destructive energy, all the soul masters below the level of a tidal Douluo in Clear Sky Castle were dismayed by the aura. Their faces turned pale, and they fell weakly to the ground, unaware of what was happening. From afar, 5 auras of different colors were quickly rising above the Clear Sky Castle. The 5 different auras, represented by Huo Yuao's whitish gold, the Sky Dream Iceworm's bright gold, the Snow Lady's white, the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion's azure green and Electrolux's grey. The 5 auras undulated tremendously in the air. Huo Yuao's aura was the smallest, but it was in the center surrounded by the other 4. The other auras exuded their might, and their terrifying strength soared further and further. The sea of clouds around Clear Sky Peak started to change intensely under the effect of these suppressive auras. They dispersed rapidly, and the sea of clouds started to expand. The middle-aged man in white and the short-haired middle-aged man, who were observing Huo Yuao, rushed out of the room immediately. However, they stopped suddenly after they did. The short-haired man was horrified and said, What force is this? How is this possible? How can he possess such overwhelming auras in his tiny body? The man in white pressed his shoulder. Don't panic. There are actually 4 different auras hidden within his body, and they're all very powerful. Something's not right. Why have the auras in his body become so wild? This is not good. They must be out of control. Quickly. As he spoke, he lifted the short-haired man by the shoulder. He carried his burly body that was at least 200 pounds like he was lifting a blade of grass. He leapt off the 3rd floor, turning into a streak of light that landed on the 2nd floor in an instant. He stared at the room with Huo Yuao in it. They weren't the only ones here. At least 10 middle-aged or elderly men were with them in the hallway on the 2nd floor. However, none of them dared to get close to the room. Sect Master. All these people bowed and greeted the man in white. The most elderly-looking man said to the man in white, Sect Master, what's going on? Why is there such great undulations of energy in our Clear Sky Sect? What auras are those? Why do I feel like there are a few transcendent soul beasts among us? The man in white's eyes flashed with green light. He replied, Elder Tang, evacuate the members of our sect along with a few of the elders. Ask them to flee as far as possible from Clear Sky Peak. Something's not right, but even we don't know what's going on yet. Sect Master, what about you and second Sect Master? Elder Tang was curious. The man replied, Don't worry about us. Don't you trust our abilities? We can only strut our stuff when all of you leave. Oh yes, bring Wang Dong with you too. He should be in his room. He can't handle this force. It's too strong. Understood. The elders of the Clear Sky Sect didn't hesitate any longer, and proceeded to carry out his instructions. Wang Dong was undoubtedly the most frantic among everyone in the Clear Sky Sect. That was because he was the only one, apart from the Sect Master and second Sect Master, who knew where the auras were coming from. When the terrifying auras appeared, Wang Dong and the others whose cultivations weren't high enough were repressed. But he possessed martial soul fusion skills with Huo Yuao, and thus he was naturally familiar with Huo Yuao's capabilities. He didn't recognize the power of Electrolux or the Snow Empress, but he could recognize Sky Dream and the Ice Empress aura. He immediately knew Huo Yuao was in trouble. Although he knew that his eldest and second uncle would test Huo Yuao, he was also aware that they knew their limits, and wouldn't overstep any boundaries. Furthermore, the auras that Huo Yuao had unleashed wasn't just the aura of his martial soul and soul rings that he could normally control. They were on an entirely different level. Wang Dong was especially petrified as he sensed the wildness coming from these auras. It was an extremely terrifying feeling. What exactly happened? Why did Yuao experience such frightening changes? Wang Dong was perplexed. He struggled to walk out of his room, but the suppressive force was too strong. He even unleashed his martial soul, and his soul ring started to flash, but he couldn't use any of his strength. This suppression was similar to the suppression that Huo Yuao had experienced from the second Sect Master when he had first arrived at Clear Sky Castle. It was on a spiritual level. One couldn't resist it using soul power. No. I must take a look. Wang Dong roared furiously. He leaned on the wall beside him to prop himself up. He was very stubborn. On his forehead, the illusory projection of a golden trident suddenly appeared and flashed with dim light. When the image of the golden trident appeared, the pressure on him dropped a little. He finally managed to rush out and bumped into the elders who hurried over. Grand Elder, what's going on? Wang Dong asked Elder Tang anxiously. Elder Tang was stunned that Wang Dong could leave the room with his own strength. We're also unsure. The Sect Master has instructed us to evacuate the members of the sect. He wants you to leave too. Come on, follow us. No, I'm not leaving. Something has happened to Yuao. Wang Dong wanted to rush past them, but he was stopped by the Grand Elder. Elder Tang was very strong, and was also very familiar with Wang Dong. He knew how stubborn Wang Dong was even though he looked very mild. He struck Wang Dong's neck, he groaned, and collapsed in his arms. Elder Tang gestured and said, Everyone, quickly follow me. We must evacuate immediately. Elders, help the disciples who can't move. Very soon, the entire Clear Sky Castle was evacuated. A large number of people rushed out of the castle towards the bottom of the mountain peak. The fog that normally surrounded Clear Sky Peak had scattered due to the terrifying auras. This made it easier for everyone who was evacuating, as it was possible for them to see where they were escaping. Both the Clear Sky Sect Master and second Sect Master furrowed their brows outside Huo Yuao's room. The second Sect Master snapped. Is he trying to show us how strong he is? Are we the ones testing him, or is he the one testing us instead? The Sect Master glared at him and said, Why are you saying all this right now? We must enter. Although I'm unsure why he's released so many powerful, out-of-control auras, how can we account for Langdong if we don't help him settle this problem? Furthermore, the terrifying strength that he's unleashed won't just implicate Clear Sky Castle. I'm afraid Clear Sky Peak and the surrounding mountain peaks will all be doomed if things go wrong. The second Sect Master nodded his head and replied, right, even if we want to blow him apart, we can't do it here. Elder brother, let me do it. As he spoke, he had already taken a step forward and came in front of Hua Yua's room. He pressed against the door with his right hand, and a layer of intense yellow light surfaced on his palm. The door was turned to ash before it even managed to creak. However, an extremely chilly aura gushed out of the room when the door disappeared. A gust of cold aura at least 10 times stronger than Hua Yua's domain of perpetual ice when he unleashed it in his normal state. It's really cold. The second Sect Master shouted. A layer of intense yellow light spread from his body and resisted the surging chill. However, he eventually couldn't curb it like that, and his soul rings started to rise from his feet. If Hua Yua were conscious, he would certainly have been shocked. That was because 7 of the second Sect Master's soul rings were black, and the last 2 were blood red. He had 7 10,000-year soul rings and 200,000-year. Among all the powerhouses Hua Yua had met before, only Douluo could compare to him. Although the door was open, a wall of ice drifted into the eyes of the 2 Sect Masters. The second Sect Master struck out with his palm, and yellow light flashed. However, the wall of ice didn't break apart like he'd expected. Slight cracks appeared on the surface of the wall, but nothing else happened after that. What? The second Sect Master exclaimed softly, and then he wanted to strike with his fist. However, the Sect Master stopped him by grabbing his wrist. Idiot. You can't disturb him like that at this point. What if you cause an explosion? As he spoke, he had already pulled his brother away. His eyes shone with green light. He extended his own right hand as he shouted softly. Dark green scales instantly covered his right arm, but he didn't unleash his martial soul. The scales exuded an elegant glow, and his entire arm turned abnormally thick. An overwhelming light that wasn't inferior to Hua Yua's auras was released from his body. His fingertips turned into sharp claws, and he clawed at the wall of ice, which instantly turned green. His palm then formed a concave shape. Then he retracted it, and the wall of ice was flung to one side. As the wall of ice was taken apart, the frightening aura behind it gushed out. The Sect Master was very impressive. Against the terrifying suppression that could even disperse the fog around Clear Sky Peak, his eyes brightened like 2 green suns. He managed to withstand the suppressive auras just like this. He let out a deep draconic roar. Fine green scales started to appear on his skin. When the suppressive auras attacked his body, it was pushed to both sides. It was like he was a sharp blade that cut it in two. The Sect Master's attention was immediately drawn to Hua Yua, sitting cross-legged on the frigid jade essence bed. Even though he was experienced and knowledgeable, he was still stunned when he saw Hua Yua. Hua Yua was naked. His body was covered by 5 different auras of 5 different colors. The area below his navel was the most brightly illuminated. Thick, golden light and an icy blue halo were flashing in an unstable manner. Hua Yua had a tormented look on his face. His backbone flashed with azure green light. A dark red soul ring spun around his body as it moved up and down rhythmically. His eyes were shut, but a vertical eye was open on his forehead. The vertical eye released a grayish white light and intense spiritual undulations. Using his immense spiritual power, he managed to control the complex auras that were being released from his body so far. The Sect Master strode into the room and came before Hua Yua as he split the suppressive auras. The second Sect Master followed him in. He was under less pressure with the Sect Master in front of him. A dense layer of hair was now covering his body, making him seem like a gorilla. He was much tenser compared to the Sect Master. Elder brother, what do we do? Do we bring him out? The Sect Master shook his head and said, if you want Wang Dong to fight you with his life at stake, you can do so. Can't you tell that he is very concerned about this young man? We don't have to rush. Let's wait a while. Although the auras are dangerous, they aren't completely out of hand yet. The sum of the strength between these auras is already beyond my cultivation. I want to see exactly how much more bizarre this young man can get. Hua Yua didn't know that the 2 of them were watching him close by. He was in extreme pain now. He had experienced something similar to this before when he fused with the Ice Empress. However, the pain he was suffering this time surpassed that previous experience. He felt very bloated in the area below his navel. The snow pearl was absorbing his strength continuously and had ballooned in size. Furthermore, the aura that it unleashed became more and more dangerous. Just like Electrolux had said, this snow pearl was like a ticking bomb. After it was lit, it couldn't be stopped. Although it was being suppressed by the various strengths in Hua Yua's body, it kept on growing. This meant that it would only be a matter of time before it exploded. Hua Yua had already relinquished control of his spiritual seed to Electrolux. At such a critical moment, they were doomed to perish if they didn't trust one another. Electrolux didn't rush to act after accepting everyone's strength. He held the staff and started to ponder. The Snow Lady drifted beside him and watched him anxiously. The Ice Empress aura became weaker and weaker. How long did she survive as she burned her spiritual origin power? However, she was the one who had suggested this fusion, so even though she didn't mention it, she was filled with regret. She was willing to risk everything to delay the explosion of the Snow Pearl. Dim lights flashed, and Electrolux seemed to have made a decision. He turned to the Snow Empress. Snow Lady, I've thought things over carefully now. Since things have reached this stage, there's only one way that will ensure everyone's survival. However, you'll suffer the most in the entire process. The Snow Empress replied without any hesitation. Tell me what it is. No matter what method you propose, I'm willing to go along with it if it can save Ice and Skydream. However, I need to know what you're planning to do. Electrolux nodded and said, of course I'm going to tell you. The Snow Pearl belongs to you and is the source of your origin energy. Although you shrunk it greatly and things are improving, we can't deny that you are the closest to its strength. Under such a circumstance, you have to be the one drawing it out from Hua Yua's body before we think of other ways. The Snow Empress revealed a weird glow in her eyes and nodded her head slightly. She replied, I get it. Please give me a boost into the sky after I draw the snow pill out. I estimate that I'll need to be at least 3,000 meters away before the explosion won't have any impact on all of you. Please start now. Electrolux said, no, you're misunderstanding. I'm not sacrificing you. Drawing the snow pearl out is only the first step. After that, I will tap into Skydreams, the Ice Empresses, Hua Yua's and my own strength to complete the refusion with the snow pearl. Refusion? With such a violent snow pearl, how is that possible? You'll kill us all. I'd rather die alone than drag all of you down with me. I was the one who caused the problem. Let me be the one to handle the consequences. The Snow Empress said decisively. As the third strongest among the 10 great savage beasts, her pride wouldn't allow her to implicate her partners at such a critical moment. Electrolux said in a deep voice, no, we have to do this. I am 80% confident in succeeding. The remaining 20% is not the probability of failure but. He paused for a moment. The Snow Empress was anxious as she said, you're still being so mysterious at a time like this. Tell me quickly. But what? Electrolux said, but losing your intelligence and memories, or rather only preserving part of your intelligence and memories. The Snow Empress was in a daze. She evidently hadn't expected such a result. She gazed deeply at the Ice Empress and said, this is already a better result than death. However, I want you to promise that you're confident of pulling it off. Otherwise, I'd rather die when my snow pearl is drawn out. Electrolux said, this is the only way. It's not that I want you to sacrifice yourself. I can't make you do so. After you leave Yua's body, the snow pearl will blow apart immediately. That's why we need to reseal it immediately, along with your spiritual sense. Through some incantations and our combined strength, we can control the violent force and transform it. My confidence was initially less than 30%, but 2 strong individuals have appeared outside. I'm sure they'll help us. With their help, I'm much more confident. I doubt there's anyone more proficient than me in the field of souls. However, I can't guarantee absolute safety. Furthermore, you'll be in a lot of pain. More importantly, I don't know what you'll become even if we succeed. Since this is the first time we've faced such a situation, the Snow Empress was furious. Since it's the only way, why are you talking so much crap? If you delay any further, we'll all be dead. Electrolux said indifferently, since you've chosen to pass everything to me, you need to trust me unconditionally. I know when the best time will be. The more violent your snow pearl is, the more confusing its strength will be when it's drawn out. This confusion is the perfect opportunity for you to strike. That's why we have to wait, be prepared, and follow the instructions of my divine sense. At this moment, Electrolux released an unprecedented suppressive force. The 5 gusts of aura were one now, and it wasn't a power of necromancy, filled with an aura of death. It was an extremely pure and holy aura of light. Electrolux turned flaming white in the spiritual sea. Intense golden fire started to burn on his body. He revealed a faint smile on his face. Electrolux's smile revealed a sense of holiness as he looked at the Ice Empress, then the staff in his hand, and then the Snow Empress. He thought to himself, I really miss them. I didn't expect myself to be so indecisive. I hope that remnants of my divine sense still remain somewhere in some other world. Who are you? Our stomach was already 3 times bigger now, as if he were a pregnant woman in her 10th month. The intense pain made him feel as if his internal organs were burning. It was the aura of ultimate ice, but it released soul power undulations that were burning. His consciousness was already becoming more and more unclear as ultimate ice and ultimate fire intersected. At this point, Electrolux's voice sounded, Snow Empress, let's begin. In the spiritual sea, a streak of golden light shot out of the staff in his hand, landing accurately on the Snow Empress and dyeing her golden. Under Electrolux's guidance, she turned into a streak of golden light that moved downwards rapidly. She followed Huo Yuao's passageways and quickly arrived at the area below his navel. It was very weird, but the aura that even the Ice Empress couldn't suppress started to become sluggish after it encountered the Snow Empress. It seemed to hesitate. The Snow Empress revealed a determined look in her eye. She leapt straight towards the Snow Pearl. In the room, the Sect Master and Second Sect Master could sense that Huo Yuao's aura was turning more and more violent. Just as they were starting to tense up in fear, a voice resonated in their heads. If the two of you don't want to perish with us, you need to help us. An elderly sounding voice jolted the 2 Sect Masters. Following this, a figure that was burning flaming white appeared in front of them. Electrolux's body exuded a concentrated aura of life. The burning light element flaring up stunned both elders. Electrolux said in a deep voice, I know both of you are confused about my background. I can only tell you that I'm from another world. My divine sense managed to fuse with Huo Yuao's body due to a chance encounter. I'm sure both of you are familiar with the words divine sense. I can sense the aura of divine sense from your bodies. Although they don't belong to of you, I'm sure I'm not wrong. Both of you should be able to sense the aura of light from me. In that world, those who possess such a pure aura of light are called children of light. Only those with the purest hearts closest to the light element can possess it. In your world, you call it the ultimate light. I have no time to talk. Huo Yuao is now in critical danger. A force that has been hidden in his body has been activated by the frigid jade essence bed, and it's about to blow. I'll use my strength to suppress this force and try to stabilize it again, but I'll need your assistance. Are you willing to help me? Electrolux sounded very sincere when he asked for their help. As the second Sect Master was hesitating, the Sect Master nodded his head resolutely. Okay, we'll help you. Second brother, let's prepare. Electrolux laughed. It seems like my gamble has paid off. Your righteousness will be an important reason why we'll survive. Gentlemen, please help me suppress this force. As he spoke, he pointed the golden staff forward. He chanted incantations repeatedly, and the staff then pointed directly to the area below Huo Yuao's navel. A frantic aura suddenly appeared. The ice in the room instantly melted, and then the pool of water it had formed also evaporated. A scorching aura overwhelmed everything. A bead that was flashing golden red and icy blue made its way out of Huo Yuao's body. When it appeared, rifts started to form on his stomach. However, he relaxed and suddenly opened his eyes. Azure green light reappeared on Huo Yuao's body. He clasped his hands and started to chant complex incantations. Blood-curdling screams sounded when the bead left his body. That was the voice of the Snow Empress. Small white figures subtly appeared around the bead, which was shining extremely brightly. However, the staff was pressed against it at this moment. Not only this, but 2 golden flares flew out from Electrolux's eyes and landed on the bead, which was filled with frightening strength. While the 2 golden flares seemed very small, the figures of the Sect Master and Second Sect Master jerked when they appeared. They were both shocked. Azure green and dark brown light rose from the 2 Sect Masters. The Sect Master's soul rings were only slightly different from the Second Sect Master. He had 6 black and 3 red soul rings. Different light projections also appeared behind the 2 Sect Masters. There was a huge green dragon behind the Sect Master. The dragon roared, and a greenish force rippled from him like water. This suppressed the force that was expanding outwards from the bead. A gigantic, illusory human figure appeared behind the Second Sect Master. This figure's arms were especially long, and he was pounding his chest. Dark brown soul power rose with the Sect Master's aura and helped to repress the explosive force of the Snow Pearl. It was very weird, but the Snow Pearl suddenly became very still when Electrolux's 2 golden flares landed on it. His figure also turned illusory and transparent in the air. However, he was still chanting his incantations, and his voice became louder and louder. The Snow Empress scream stopped. At this moment, she seemed to understand something. Her petite figure was on the Snow Pearl, and she gazed deeply at Electrolux. She bent her waist and bowed to him respectfully. After that, she turned into a streak of flowing light and entered the Snow Pearl. While the forces inside the Snow Pearl were extremely violent, they could not be released while being suppressed by 3 strong beings. They could only flash between golden red and golden blue. The 2 Sect Masters were indeed very strong. When they teamed up, they completely suppressed the Snow Pearl and prevented it from blowing apart. Do we send it out? The Sect Master asked Electrolux. Electrolux waved the staff at him and chanted his incantations more resoundingly. He lifted the staff up high in the air and then slowly and steadily outlined a shape of golden runes. Huo Yuao also lifted his right hand as he chanted on the other side. His index finger turned illusory in the air. He seemed to be imitating Electrolux's actions. Electrolux revealed a comforted look in his eyes. The golden runes he created started to drift towards the Snow Pearl and rapidly fused with them. Strangely, the Snow Pearl seemed to transform after the runes were fused in. The power inside it was still as violent as ever, but it didn't try to burst out of the pearl. There was much less pressure on the Sect Master and Second Sect Master now, but they didn't dare relax. No one knew if the violent energy would run wild again. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.